There's plenty to get into on GPFans.com when it comes to the world of F1 at the moment, as we're getting ready for the car launches that will get set to take place midway through next month. Then we move into pre-season testing, and there's the new season soon on the horizon. But we're looking at the past, the present, and the future of Formula 1 today, as we bring you a recap of all the latest news in F1 over the last few days. Toto Wolff has admitted that part of Mercedes' difficulties in the 2022 season stemmed from the team doing too much live testing rather than actual racing on track. Although we often never really heard details as to what the Silver Arrows were testing on race weekends, when the team would set up George Russell and Lewis Hamilton differently, using the 7-time world champion often as a guinea pig during the season. Mercedes were dealing with performance and porpoising problems for a huge chunk of the year, particularly at the start of last season, and it seems that trying to get the best out of their car meant sacrificing race weekends to see what would work and what wouldn't as a solution. Wolff, talking about the W13 car of last year, told GP fans that it was very unpredictable, difficult to drive and not competitive to race at the front. Therefore, it was more live testing than really racing. Hamilton's year was seriously affected, of course, with the 7-time world champion failing to win a race last season for the first time in his career, and the Silver Arrows have hopefully learnt their lesson from 2022 and will be competing from the word go this coming season. Elsewhere this week, FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem has called on F1 and the 10 teams on the grid to be more encouraging of the attempt by General Motors to join the sport. Andretti Racing last week announced the partnership with GM Cadillac as the American motorsport stable looks to find a path into the premier class of motorsport, with many seeing the partnership as the last barrier to entry for the American team. But skepticism is rife in the current paddock, with some believing the branding with Cadillac is nothing more than a badging exercise to force Andretti's way into the sport. The FIA president has felt this and publicly questioned via Twitter the adverse reaction some on the grid have had to the Andretti GM merger announcement before continuing to push the issue when attending the Dakar Rally earlier this week. In general, if we look at the sustainability of Formula 1, we have to open it up to other brands, said the FIA president. An OEM, original equipment manufacturer, will help make Formula 1 better, and I see no reason why we should not welcome new teams, especially the Americans. Bin Sulayem added that having a big company like GM in F1 should be encouraged, and that F1 is open to all good teams, even small ones like Haas. A slight public knock on Haas there, but also interesting that the stress on American teams being important to the sport, with 3 races coming up this season in the country. I'm sure though we will still see some trepidation from the teams currently in the sport, as they don't wish to dilute the brand or the share of the profits that come with it. Elsewhere, the FIA is blaming toxic social media for the departure of Michael Masi from Formula 1, and not the untenable situation the race director put himself and the sport in when he made the calls that he did in Abu Dhabi 2021, while FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem is also delivering a strong message to Formula 1 drivers, saying that motorsport's governing body will not tolerate drivers making political statements in F1 to suit their own personal agendas. We really are going to miss Sebastian Vettel, aren't we, this season? All of that and more on GPFans.com and GPFans Global on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well.